All right, happy Friday night, everybody. Welcome on into the worldwide headquarters for Raiderland. Glad you're with us tonight. Going to hang out as long as the conversation is good. I think everybody's a little bit tired after last night's late night with Red Raider basketball, but we got stuff to talk about from that game. We got Tech baseball going on tonight, softball in action, and just checking in on how your bracket is doing. So we want to hear from you tonight. Jump in, thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street. That's right, the supermarket that puts their name on stuff at Texas Tech. And let us know what you're thinking, whether you're on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media, on our YouTube channel, or our Facebook channel for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. They're all free. And share that, invite people in, and be a part of the program. Just like Craig, the first one in tonight, the talking box is on. Nicely done. The talking box is on. All right. So yeah, we got stuff going on, right? We want to hear from you. We want to hear from your thoughts on the most Texan thing you have done this week. Hear your thoughts on Texas Tech last night taking care of Wilmington, and it was interesting the way it played out. Didn't really go into the game. We said that they gave up 3-pointers. I didn't think Tech was going to set a NCAA tournament record for most 3-pointers attempted, but they did. And we're also finding out today Chance McMillan not going to play Saturday. If you want to see him in a Red Raider uniform again, you got to extend the season on to the Sweet 16. Let's do it in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com. You started your day there on the website, checking out the cool Raiderland hot links. Also, you know that on Fridays, we ask you one simple question. What's the most Texan thing you have done this week? Big, small, or otherwise, what's the most Texan thing you have done this week? We're brought to you by The Reserve, a culinary tavern, 103rd and Quaker in Lubbock, Texas. If you're looking for a place to watch the game tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, watch a little baseball. If you can't go out there and take in Texas Tech and TCU at Danelaw, they got you covered. They also have a fantastic brunch menu if you get there early. 10 to 2, I think they serve the brunch menu. Good people there at the Reserve. It's a really relaxed atmosphere, and you can actually hear your friends talking while you're hanging out watching the game, and they put all the games on. So that and the Shropshire Agency. hmm That's right, independent, just like you guys. If you need insurance, well, everybody does. If you need to update your insurance, if you need to talk to somebody about maybe you're on a church board or you got a business and you're going, a lot of changes here in 2025. What's going on? You need to talk to Jeff Shropshire at the Shropshire Agency, independent, just like all great West Texans. So let's get it going tonight. Texas Tech baseball in action tonight. MacHugh getting the start for the Red Raiders. They're taking on TCU. This is a big series for Texas Tech because you got to get some wins. The RPI is sitting at around 82 today, based on D1Baseball.com. It's going up and down pretty wildly right now. Still, there are a lot of big swings thanks to non-conference stuff. The best thing Tech can do is take 2 of 3 from TCU. You don't have to sweep, but you need to take 2 of 3. TCU comes in 51 on the RPI. That's not a quad 2 win right now. So you got to get some wins. We will see. The weather is good. The weather is fair. The winds are fairly light today after the last week or so of just gale force winds, and it cost you a midweek game. And I don't think it cost you that much because you were going to play New Mexico. And even if you'd won, I think it would have hurt your RPI. So the next 2 days, next 3 days, today, tomorrow, Sunday, get 2 wins. And I think you'll be back up in the 60s, maybe into the 50s. Maybe in the 50s if you could get 2 of 3. We don't talk about sweeps just because it's so hard to do. And what Tech did last week, sweeping the Big 12 opener, you hadn't started 3-0 since 2017. That was a pretty good team, by the way. James, Tech baseball just needs to win from here on out. You're not going to win all of them, but take 2 or 3, take 2 or 3, maybe get you another sweep or two, and then we're talking pretty good. I assume we are underway. We should be underway. Well, okay, maybe not yet. We'll see. Dan jumps in, and you guys can get in on Facebook. Facebook is rocking and rolling tonight. Where are my Twitter people? At Ryan Hyatt Media. And YouTube people, you guys are great too. Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland and YouTube. Don't cost nothing. I want everybody to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you do nothing else for us, subscribe to that this weekend. Invite your friends, like it, and grow it, and get us over 500 on that. That'd be awesome. We're over 7,000 and 1,500 and all this stuff on the other things. We want 500 on the YouTube channel. Never play New Mexico in anything. I endorse that statement. I agree with that statement. That is a factual statement. Never play New Mexico in anything. Meanwhile, Alan, Tech is wearing the Mahomes baseball jerseys tonight. Lawson coming in with a pitch like Mahomes. Fact. ERA, infinity. The uniforms, not good. Shoes were kind of cool. Uniforms, not good. And as much as we love Patrick Mahomes, all of the Mahomes Adidas uniforms so far have left me wanting for not that uniform. All right. So don't do it. Dan, the Southwest Conference is actually the strongest conference this postseason. You got Houston, you got Tech. Yeah. Speaking of which, how's everybody's bracket doing right now? Mine is not great. It's not going to look great after the first 2 days, but the losses I've had do not take me out beyond the Sweet 16 at all. In fact, I've only lost one Sweet 16 team, and that's Clemson so far. So the losses that we have incurred, and that's the way you have to look at it. The first 2 days are a bloodbath. But what did you maintain after that? If you're in a bracket contest and you're doing stuff like that, the thing that matters is, you just don't get killed on your losses beyond the next day. So we're hanging in there on that right now. Today's games that we were kind of surprised by. Boy, I really thought Grand Canyon was going to have a little bit something more than that. That certainly didn't translate. We were really looking at that Memphis game too. That was an interesting line on the 5-12. Turns out Colorado State 78-70, and they will advance to take on Maryland. So tell us about your bracket. Chris, what is SEC record in tourney now? Maybe 6-5 so far. I don't know. I don't have that in front of me. They've had their share of losses, and what they would say is, well, when you get 14 teams in, you're going to have some losses. It's going to happen. Only 2 losses right now for Alan Corbin. Ladies and gentlemen, the bracket savant himself. Every Southwest Conference team won except Texas. Oh, that's a shame. Hate to see that. James, I miss a traditional pinstripe or the knee-high pants in baseball uniforms. Yeah, I'm a old school baseball guy. I like that look too. Agreed. Don't like them wearing pajamas. Randy J is getting in on our, he's coming in off of YouTube, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Everybody on YouTube, please hit like, share, grow it, do all that stuff. Isn't Grand Canyon the college we also see the ads for online university? How do they practice online basketball? With their thumbs. Just thumbs. I mean, did you not, have an Atari game growing up or Nintendo or anything like that? Yeah. It's all thumbs. Now, here's one that'll date me. Did you have the game, this little bitty handheld thing, and it was filled up with water, and it had a little goal, and it had these little basketballs inside, and you had to move the bubbles around to get the basketball to go up into the goal. That would take me from Amarillo to Lubbock going to see my grandparents in 1978. You know, surely somebody remembers that. And there were a couple of games like that, but it was a little handheld deal. I mean, about as big as your phone, and you moved the water around, and you got the ball to go up into. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. At least Andy does. I know Andy does. No brackets this year. I'm enjoying every game. Yeah, undefeated. You can't lose if you don't play. All right, are we underway yet? Texas Tech, top of the first, 2 outs, runner on second. How did we get a runner on second? Oh, Strassenatter single to left field. Now you got 2 down. So we are underway. Mac Hewer getting the start tonight for the Red Raiders. Would be nice to see him go about 5 solid, keep the bullpen intact going into the weekend, and we'll go from there. RPI. Got to have the RPI. James, I had a handheld pinball game growing up. So it had the little bitty metal like BBs, if I'm remembering this right. And I'm a lot older than you are. But we had the pinball game. You had the little BBs and you hit it and go up there. Yeah, there you go. Yes, Trace, my man. Jumping in on Facebook. The hoop and the stick. So you had a little ring, and you'd be manipulating this thing, and it's in water, and you had to get that little hula hoop to come down. It's like a little Fruit Loop come down on a stick, and then after you did it, we were like, okay, well, now what? Well, we made it all the way to Plainview. We only got another 45 minutes to an hour to go. Play it again. Yeah, one of those. I wonder how many different water games there were. I remember the basketball. I know the one you're talking about, where you had that thing that you just, get it on the stick and everything. God, life was so much simpler. Very good. How's your bracket doing? We asked you tonight. Texas Tech last night, what impressed you? What, if anything, did not impress you? Were you surprised that Tech shot 48 three-pointers or attempted 48 three-pointers? We talked about going into the game that this was not a good UNCW team defending the three. I never really expected them, talking about Texas Tech, to shoot 48 of them, but hey, why not set an NCAA tournament record? I think the biggest thing going into Drake is McMillan. He's not going to play. Cole Banker, Nathan Geis, everybody, you can tell by the comments, he ain't going to play. All right. So take him out of the equation. Now, you look at Drake and you go, there's great familiarity between Ben McCullough and Grant McCasland. These teams scrimmaged against each other earlier this year. Who does that benefit? Who does that hurt? I don't know. But there's not going to be any fear between the two teams. I will say this. If you use the same game plan, and you won't, I know they won't, but you can't take that many threes and beat Drake. You've got to get to the free throw line. You've got to establish Toppin. Toppin was a non-factor. He gets the double-double, a cheap man's double-double late in the game. And you can't sit there and go, okay, Kerwin Walton's going to go off again and get you 20. No. This is where the second round, this is where Toppin has to be your second-team All-American. This is where Toppin has to be the guy. It's got to be Toppin. And you've got to shoot some free throws. Because when you shoot free throws, you typically make them. So it was neat, and we said going in that this would be the game that you could shoot the three, that you could shoot the three-pointers and win, and you did. That party's over from here on out. Your All-American has to lead you from here. James, I'm glad Tech finally went inside late in the game after the commentators mentioned it. Well, that's all it takes sometimes. Announcers have that kind of power that if they will speak it into existence, they can do it. Alan talking about the scrimmage Tech 74-66, just like in October. JC jumping in on our YouTube channel. And why wouldn't he? Yes, you had to wear out bubble button to pump enough bubbles. Also, disconnected Mattel football speaker and might have had epic battles on back row of First Baptist Church Eastland. There you go. Well done. Covered a lot of ground in that one. Let's check back in on Tech baseball. Bottom of the first we go, and it's scoreless. Texas Tech gets out of the inning. Hewer gets a strikeout on Franco. So it's going to be the leadoff man, Thompson, for the Red Raiders. After that, Bravo hitting second, Villeneuve hitting third, and you'll have Logan Hughes in that cleanup spot, batting fourth with the 279 average. Maxey will be hitting fifth with Rivers. And then we have Bame down there at third, Lopez, and Antonio Salvatore. Somebody's not out there. Yeah, somebody's not out there. I didn't catch that in the early go. Somebody's not in the lineup. Check that. Go lineups. Yeah, no, somebody. Yeah, there he is on the bench. Somebody not out there. Fascinating. Meanwhile, back at the conversation as we go through on a Friday night. Glad you guys are with us. Basketball to talk about. We will have round ball rewind tomorrow night after the game with the 5 o'clock start. We don't have to stay up until 1 in the morning to do that. So we'll be with you tomorrow night. And then we will have Diamond Talk on Sunday and recap the Tech TCU series. It would have been great, says Randy, if Mount St. Mary's would have played to determine who is the best Mary to end the debate once and for all. That's a lot of rosary bleeds. These bleeds? Those bleeds? Which bleeds? Those bleeds? Yeah. I'll take these bleeds and what? Oh, sorry. Nobody gets that reference, by the way. It occurs at the end of a movie in outtakes. I'll tell you this. It's a movie from the 1980s. James, I like Williams going downhill to the basket. Control is so good. Don Williams can get it done. I'll agree with that. No top of the key three for Tech tomorrow. Any three shot below the elbow to the corners, open up driving lanes and the bigs. We want the big. We want Toppin. Give me Toppin. All right, can we have Toppin? You know. Steven is on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media on Twitter X, where we're still, bless his heart, Elon Musk is having problems with the back end stuff. And when I say back end, I mean how it works with syncing up with our broadcast and getting it out there and everything else. I mean, they're operating on the bare minimum right now at Twitter after getting hacked last week and still rebuilding a lot of stuff. I can tell by when I do stuff on our website using Twitter. Yeah, we're glad to have Steven in there, and you guys awesome. My 8-year-old filled out his first bracket with New Mexico going to the Final Four. Too young for therapy? Never too young for therapy. And you just gently explain, okay, we understand you like their mascot. It's a rabid dog. It's got rabies. It looks cool. We get that. We understand that. But, yeah, no. Never too early to dissuade a youngster from moving away from that type of stuff. Most Texan thing you did this week? You can tell us that. Again, it's Friday night. I know this time of year, and obviously we're going up against Tech baseball starting and, getting that going. I get it. Everybody's a little tired. Just glad you're out there. But hey, you want us to hang around for a few more minutes, fire away the questions, comments, your thoughts, and anything else, and we'll keep doing that. If not, hey, that's fine. I got things to do. We'll get this posted up at theraiderland.com. We'll get ready for a big weekend tomorrow and Saturday because it is going to be a huge weekend here around theraiderland.com. So, I don't mind. Also, it's movie night later on, and got a good movie. At least I think we got a good movie to watch. Do you think we would see Toppin and Federico in the game at the same time? That would probably be dependent on foul trouble and matchups. That if you felt like really you just wanted to, that would mean that Toppin's going to go out on the wing. Okay, so Toppin goes to a swing, and then you just sit Federico down there and say, we need somebody down here who's going to hold down the block, seal it at the rim a little bit, and maybe do some fouls. So could you have them in the game at the same time? Absolutely. Will you see it? I think that's matchup dependent, probably foul dependent as well, that maybe you've lost a perimeter guy or something like that. I'm not opposed to it, but yeah. Last night seemed like Coach Mack told them to only shoot threes and see if they could survive. It almost cost them. No. Last night, the Seahawks said, we're going to take away everything inside and we're going to play no middle. And we're going to do an old Mark Adams and Chris Beard deal. And you're not going to get anything 15 feet in. Oh, and we're also going to suck at defending outside because we're really undersized. And that's where your looks are going to be. And that was the right approach by UNCW. And it was the right approach by Texas Tech to absolutely take care of that. So you had two things going on, dictating taking away the middle by the UNCW, and Texas Tech going, that's fine. You want us to shoot threes? We'll shoot threes. We can beat you shooting threes tonight. Nothing wrong with that. It was a singular game within the NCAA tournament that the matchups dictated the outcome, and the outcome worked for Texas Tech. You're not going to see them shoot 48 threes against Drake tomorrow. Lady Raiders back in the win column postseason. They've won 4 postseason games now. No, 3. They won, 2. They won 2 at the Big 12 tournament, and now they beat Wyoming last night. They are in Blacksburg, Virginia. First time ever to play Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech. Saw them in Lubbock, saw them in Cancun. I believe I did a game with the Lady Raiders against Virginia Tech in Cancun in about 2005 at an all-inclusive resort, Adventura Spa, and we played in a hotel ballroom, and there was a wet bar at the end of the bench, and interesting. Very interesting. Riona Sanjeo, let's Tech. We're at the game. Well, then Tech it up. Did Hawkins play beyond his years late in the game controlling tempo? No, I think he played the way I've watched him play numerous times this year, which is a very talented controlling point guard. He's good. And we got all these not new stats, but plus minus stats and this and that. The dude's just a good point guard, okay? Best one you've had in several years. So I wouldn't say play beyond his years. I think that was just a guy who's had the experience this year within the Big 12 and doing what you're doing. Top of the second now after Thompson out at third. Catcher to third on the play. What happened? Oh, Villanelle popped up. There you go. All right. So we're going on. Mac Hewer back out for his second inning of work against TCU. We are scoreless after one inning in Lubbock out at Dan Law Field. Beautiful day for baseball here in the Hubbaplex. Hopefully a lot of folks are out there tonight. A couple more minutes left. Get your comments in, your questions in. We'll go from there. For those who missed it earlier, the Tech RPI tonight, 82 going in D1 baseball, TCU 51. You'll see a big swing if you beat TCU tonight, and Tech will move up about 10, maybe 15. You need to be rooting for everybody. Everybody Tech has played this year. North Carolina, Cal Irvine, Grand Canyon. Worst thing that happened to you on the RPI after you played Grand Canyon and got swept, they went and lost a couple of games in a row. You've got to have those teams win and keep that strength of schedule up. Your strength of schedule right now is overall 12. That's really good. You know, your non-con strength of schedule is 14. And you need some help. You have 0 quality quad 1 and quad 2 wins right now. And sadly, TCU tonight would not be a quad. If you beat them, you're not going to get a quad 1 or a quad 2 win because they start the day at 51, unless they get help by one of their non-conference teams, where their strength of schedule is 121. And their non-conference strength of schedule is 159. So there's the disparity between the two teams right now. There you go. Tech's path to the Elite Eight seems very manageable. I don't know if we call it manageable, but it hadn't changed from when the bracket came out, in my opinion, that they could get there. I mean, sit there and look at it and go, okay. Well, Drake, yeah. I think Drake's better than Missouri, and that's why I had Drake picked. Then you got St. John's and Arkansas coming up. St. John's offensively has struggled. It's very interesting right there. So I still think it's going to be Tech in Florida for the right to go to the Final Four. Is Big 12 baseball even a quad 1 conference? They're down this year. Big 12 baseball is really bad this year. And that's why you saw Tim Tadlock scheduled the way he scheduled. They knew that the conference was going to be down, and they had to make it up in the non-conference schedule. They just didn't win enough games to make the gambit pay off going into Big 12 play. Now that backs you into a corner in Big 12 play that you've got to win a bunch of games, because for the most part, every time you lose in Big 12 play, it's going to hurt you. Jan is at the baseball game where Texas Tech, top of the second, with a runner on first after a leadoff single by Brunson. So Mac Heuer trying to work a little double play magic here and get out of the top of the second. I mean, there was no doubt that this league was not going to be as tough as it had been. And I think the conversation going forward for Texas Tech baseball is going to be, you have to schedule incredibly well outside the Big 12, because your league is going to pretty much, for the most part, not be good. Unless something changes. It's you, it's Oklahoma State, and it's TCU. Arizona not doing anything. Arizona State not doing anything. They are shells of their former selves. And that's a shame. All right, we enjoyed the conversation tonight. You guys are the best. We're going to post this on the website here in just a little bit. We will be with you tomorrow after basketball, and we will have a round ball rewind. So get ready for that tomorrow evening around 7:30 or so. We'll be with you on Sunday with Diamond Talk after Texas Tech and TCU wrap up the weekend. We'll have our columns for you Saturday, the column with no name on Saturday. If anybody can come up with a good name for it, let us know. And then 5 things we do on a Sunday. Want you to do a lot of things for us tonight. Share this. Invite your friends in. Tell them about Raiderland. Support our great sponsors. Anything and everything you can do to help us. is great for our sponsors because without them, we don't do anything. And then just go have a great night. Go have some fun. All right, got to hit a button. The button stops it. Stops it right here.